How do you impress at a college soccer ID camp? I'm the college soccer guy. I help you play college soccer. ID camps can be really frustrating because sometimes you'll go to an ID camp, you'll leave the ID camp, and nothing really have changed. You spoke to the coach, but they didn't really tell you anything, or you just don't know. So how is it that you stand out? So here are my tips to standing out at a college soccer ID camp. Okay, number one, and first of all, probably the most important, is well before the ID camp is going to occur, and you know they're going to occur. They happen in the fall, they happen in the winter, they happen in the spring, and they happen in the summer. So they happen all year round. In saying that, well before those ID camps or in between those ID camps, please work on getting in touch with the coach. How do you do that? You write them an email and you attach video constantly. Not just one video, not just one highlight video, not just one email. Update videos, update emails, every touch videos, full game videos. Get in touch with them before the camp and ask them, are they looking for X position for the class of X? If so, you'll have a much more likely chance when you go to the camp of actually being noticed because they want to see you. Maybe they've even said to you, we really like your video. We need to see more of you. Come to the camp. That's the place you want to be so they can really tunnel vision on you directly. So that's number one. Number two, now you're at the ID camp. Sorry about that. The noise outside was driving me nuts. The camps can vary. So when you go up to the coach and you want to go and shake their hands, if it's a smaller camp, they'll let you do that. But if it's a really big camp, it's a possibility that they won't be able to let you do that because there's just so many kids, in which case, all I want you to do is skip that part. But if you can shake their hand, that'd be awesome. Then my suggestion is wear something different in your clothes. White socks, pink shirt. That's what I used to do. It just makes you stand out. You know, if you happen to have bleach hair, which also has a certain tone of, you know, people who have bleach hair, they tend to think of them in a stereotypical way, like I'm such a hot shot. So you don't have to get bleached hair, but do wear something that's a bit brighter than everyone else. It's just an obvious one to stand out. Then the next thing is you want to memorize the names of the players on your team. So here's the order of the ID camp. Number one, you're going to do some type of warm-up, jog about. Reserve your energy, save it. You don't need to be going crazy at the beginning of that ID camp to impress the coaches. Everything that matters is in the 7-a-side or the 11-a-side. So in the warm-up, reserve your energy, but if they're doing like passing drills or they're doing dribbling moments, like be intense about it. Look over your shoulder each play, think about the game. You know, you want to show that you're really passionate. What I used to do, I used to communicate, turn, man on, no matter what. I don't care if it was real or not real, whether it was game or not. I always would say man on or turn or good job next time. You know, whatever I would say would be related to the game, even if it was in a pass drill. If it was a pass drill, I would check away and come back. Even if it wasn't necessary, you would always make it game realistic. Coaches look at that and they go, hey, that kid's training like a pro. If they keep training like that, I know for a fact they're going to get really good. And of course, then they want to recruit you. So make sure when you're doing the warm-up, you reserve your energy, but you're doing it with intensity. Then I want you to memorize the names of the players on your team when you go into 7-a-side. How do you memorize their names? Ask their names when you get to camp, and then start asking their names when you're in line at the camp. The coaches will also see you asking their names and introducing yourself to the players, and they'll like that. They'll be like, oh, this person is an adult, wants to get to know them, but really secretly, I want you to be memorizing their names. And the best way to memorize any name is repeat that name 2 or 3 times to that person. Hey, John, where are you from, John? How you doing, John? Boom, now you're going to remember the name John. Then when you go into 7-a-side, while everyone else is going, pass to me, you're going to go, John, pass it to me. Everybody responds better to their name, and guess what? You'll get the ball more. Then number 3 is during the camp, instead of asking, what is it that you believe I can improve upon? And if this is at a big ID camp, you probably won't get to talk to a coach, but if it's a smaller one, you may be able to. Instead of saying, what do you think I can work on? You want to say, Coach, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm so grateful to be here. You know, I just want to tell you, like, I'm just really grateful to be here, and it's so nice to meet you. Boom. Don't say anything else. Just say thank you. Then at the end of camp, you've developed a relationship. He knows you. She knows you. You got to say thank you. Then at the end, you're going to say, Coach, you know, it's such a pleasure. I really enjoyed being here. You know, what level of college soccer do you believe I can play? And that's really the money question, because these coaches can give you feedback. You know, they can tell you, you know what, you need to work on your speed or be more dynamic, or you need to be on the half turn more. Okay, so you go work on that. And then what? Are they going to recruit you? That's why you're going to the ID camp. You're not they're going to pitch you like you're here to learn, which you will also learn, and that will be a great experience, especially if you're a freshman or sophomore. But you don't care about learning as much as you care about being recruited. That's why you're there. You want to get recruited. So if you say to them, are you going to recruit me? They're just going to tell you, we're not sure yet. We'll get back to it. It's too aggressive of a question. And you're just a young person, so you think it's a good question, but it's really a bad question. No coaches can recruit you right after 1 day of ID camps or even 2 or 3 days. They need to see so much video. They need to see you at another showcase. They need to see you in a more competitive environment than an ID camp. So the answer is always going to be, we're not sure. Unless they come up to you, and if they start asking you questions like, where are you from? What's your GPA? During the camp, that means they like you. So just so you know, if they start asking you any questions, what's your story? Who are you? That means they think you're good. Now, if they don't ask you questions, though, it doesn't mean they think you're bad. So don't be like, hey, they're asking that kid questions and not me. You don't know exactly what it means. But if they're asking you questions, it is a good sign. When you are done then with the camp and you've said to them, what division do you think I could play at? And they respond to you with, I think you play Division I college soccer. They're a Division I school. That's their way of saying, like, we are very interested in you. And they'll say, we'd like to stay in touch. Or they might say to you, you know what? I think you play Division II, Division III, but maybe one day Division I, so stay in touch with us. Okay, so now for you and your parents, it's not a waste of money at an ID camp because you got a professional evaluation as to what level you are as of today. Now, you may not like the answer, and soccer's subjective. You can go get a second opinion at another ID camp, or you can get one from me. What you need to know, though, is, okay, if this coach thinks I'm D3, D2, I need to talk to those schools first, get their interest, and then go back to the D1s again. Otherwise, you'll end up only focusing on D1s and not maybe get to play college soccer. Again, it's subjective. I was told throughout my full career I would never play college soccer, and I was like, I'm going to play Division I, I don't care. And I went to many ID camps being told, asking the same question, what level? And they all said, you're Division III, you're not big enough, you're not athletic enough. And then eventually I found, it took me 10 ID camps though, I found my coach that believed in me at the Division I level, but it took 10 ID camps to get to that point. So it may take the same for you, and you may say, I'm not willing to go through all those, and I really want to play college soccer, which is why there are other divisions for you, and that's why I want you to ask that question. The other reason you're going to ask that question is, let's say the coaches come back to you and say, look, we think you're Division II, Division III, but we want to stay in touch with you. That means they still like you. They want to see you develop. But then you can ask them the follow-up question, which is, would you mind being a reference on my behalf? There are some schools that are interested in me, but they have not been able to see me in person, and I'd love to be able to have them contact you. And 80 to 90% of the time, the coach says, of course, have them reach out to me. It's no problem. And that's actually how we had one of our students get a $124,000 scholarship to a Division I school. He went to UW. The UW coach said, we like you, but you're not for us. We said, could he be a reference? Then we put his name in every email we sent saying, Jamie Clark, which is the head coach of UW, said he'd be a reference for me if you want to speak to him. The college coaches called him and said, I haven't seen him in person. How do you rate his personality, his good effort? And Jamie Clark, who's a top 5 Division I coach, said, look, this is a great kid. He's a good soccer player. That's my opinion about him. And then eventually he got recruited to play Division I college soccer. I'm a college soccer guy. If you want more help playing college soccer, give me a call. Descriptions below, links in the bio. Talk soon.